I'm going to talk about digital fundraising, but basically I want to talk about how you optimize your websites for digital fundraising. Small changes can make a big impact to the amount of money people are raising. So we're going to talk a little bit about how you optimize websites for donations, and then look a bit about behavioural, how people behave, and I think Katya touched on some of that, is how people emotionally react to websites and how that can change, little changes around that, understanding that can actually improve your digital fundraising quite a lot. If you can work out some of those things to continually optimize your website for donations, then obviously that brings in more money, which is, I would think, for most charities, very important. So that is me. I'm Marcus Watson, so I'm the CEO here. But I also have got quite a bit of charity experience myself. I started at Stonewall as a volunteer, and I was doing work around immigration, and so many couples came along that they actually, Stonewall said at the time, the issue of gay immigration, they weren't going to touch it. It wasn't a campaign issue for them. It was Daily Mail, knew it hated gays, and it knew it hated immigrants. It certainly knew it hated gay immigrants, so they didn't want to do anything. But actually, what happened there is members of the people that I was giving advice to all chipped in and put £10 a month in, and they paid my salary, and that's how I got my job at Stonewall. And I became the communications director at Stonewall and set up the Friends of Stonewall, and that brought in about £1 million for Stonewall, and it was actually his main source of income at the time. Stonewall was a very small organisation there. When I started, it was only 3 people. Then I set up gay.com in the UK. I worked for tourism because I was the executive director of Tourism Concern. That was a member-based organisation, again, getting other funding, so we had to raise money directly from memberships. UK Foundation for AIDS and Croydon Pride. So I have quite a lot of experience on charities. So, but this is basically what the charity message is. It is like, we're really nice, give us your money, and then we're going to do some good. And that was really much the message. But of course, that's it's probably a little bit too in your face for this day and age. So, but that is what we're essentially, the messages you want to try and get across. But we've been in a cost of living crisis, so charity donations have dropped. More people feel their ability to give to charity has dropped. And of course, if you look at it by age, how people are feeling, how well off people are feeling, quite clearly there's a generational divide there, with young people feeling very much worse off than older people. But the good news, this is an interesting report that recently came out, but the good news is that although donations to charities have fallen, online donations have actually remained fairly steady. So we can see that the other donations are falling, online donations remain stable, so really we need to optimise those online donations. We did a report right with the third sector, which is available. If anybody wants a copy of the report, we can send you a copy. Literally does some behavioural insights into how you can improve your donations. But donations don't just happen in a vacuum. You need to think about your traffic acquisition. Obviously, you can only get donations from people who arrive at your website, so getting people to your website is good. But you want the right sort of traffic, and many charities tend to focus on the number of people visiting their website rather than the quality of the people visiting their website. So it's very important to understand who do you want to attract, how do you want to attract that audience, what sort of content. I mean, content is still king. Good content counts for a lot. But people will work out whether your content is good or not and stay for it. Look at SEO best practices, measure all the time. One of the things I find very frustrating in this job is that we build people a website, and they take it away and they don't do anything with it. They don't measure it, they don't look what happens. I mean, you've got the opportunity with digital to track and see how people use your website. And you've got the opportunity to change it and improve it continually. And websites should always be continually improved. We've got a whole strategy and UX department just working on that basis, because website, you don't just launch it and then hope for the best and never look at it again. You really need to understand how your users are using the website and what you can do to improve that. User journeys are very important. Make sure people come to a website, they want to be taken on a journey. If you take them on a journey and why they should donate, they're more likely to donate. But you need to understand what the user journey is through your website. Say thank you. A lot of charities don't do thank you notes. Constant evolution, testing and refining. That is the key. It doesn't just stop. They say, we got a new website and we increased donations by 30% and we're all happy. I'm like, well, do you know, is 30% a good number? You know, is that the best number? We don't know. You don't know. You don't know if 30% is good or bad. You don't know whether it should have been 60% or whether it should be 70%. You don't know. So without that testing, you're never going to know how well your website will perform. Keep it personal. People love people. If you hear a person's story, then you're more likely to donate than if you just say, give us some money. You do want to have a good case study where you talk about the person and why you should give. But you still see very poor practice around this. I mean, it is about good content and understanding. A little bit of effort makes a big difference to those donations. Specify the ask. Why are you asking for the money? What is it for? Be very clear about that. So not all charities have easy asks like that. Some are more difficult. But if you've got them, use them. Say what the money is going to be used for. And if you give people a reason why £12 can do something, they're more be emotionally connected to the ask. People can be manipulated. We all think they can't be manipulated because we've seen that Cambridge Analytica spent a lot of time manipulating people previously and probably still do it. You listen to Roy Shirt, he will tell you that there are definitely companies out there offering to swing elections through manipulating people online, very easily done. So we know that people can be easily swayed. We all think, I should update these because nobody knows who Mr. Spock is anymore. Remember Captain Janeway? I always liked Captain Janeway. I saw myself as Captain Janeway once. I can see it. Anyway, so look, we all like to think we're Mr. Spock and we are rational and sensible human beings, but actually most of us are a little bit. I certainly am saying like Homer Simpson. So the way we make decisions, the emotional part of our brain is really very, very strong. And quite often it usually overrides the more logical part of us. So worth understanding that, and that's how people can be manipulated very easily. But another very good report is a bit dated now, but done by the Cabinet Office, looked at how you apply these behavioural insights into charitable giving. And they summed it up fairly easily. Make it easy to do stuff. One of the things I always think is quite interesting is when you've got people on a regular donation paying you £5 a month, if you just ask them, say, would you increase that by inflation each year? Can you say, yeah, of course I would. We're very good, actually. We're very good at denying our future selves stuff for the instant. We prefer the instant to the future. That's why we're bad at saving, and most of us are anyway. But so something just like asking people to increase it by inflation each year, of course, makes a huge difference in the long run, without people even noticing it. So those sort of things are very, very important. So easy, attractive, social, and timely. Human Dignity Trust. Jonathan Cooper, who was a friend of mine, he sadly passed away, but he set up the Human Dignity Trust, and he had the worst website ever. I literally have never seen a website as bad as him. But he would say, well, look, we don't get any money off the website. We don't get any donations from the website. Donors are all high donors. And he was right. I mean, people that donated to the Human Dignity Trust are the sort of people that would give £50,000 or £80,000 at a go. They're not going to do that on a website. But if you were at a fundraiser somewhere and somebody's talking, Jonathan very grandly speaking at the front, talking about the importance of Human Dignity Trust, people are going to have a look at the website. And if they think the website was built in 1972 and it looks a bit dodgy, that doesn't give them much confidence in the organisation. So we did the whole rebranding of the Human Dignity Trust, and I think they've gone from strength to strength. I mean, I think when it was Jonathan, it was just Jonathan, and I think now, I don't know how many people they employ now, but about 10, 15 people. But having a brand that is authoritative and attractive makes a big difference to that donor, whether somebody's going to donate to that charity. Not necessarily donate online, but donate, because it's the image it gives. People relate to people very much so, and people relate to people like them. So if they see people like them supporting something, it's very easy to get them to support you. Peer effects. So this was interesting. This was done by Co-op, I think, the Co-op Legal Services, where they did, it was doing wills. They do a will service, the Co-op. And so they had a baseline, so they randomly selected people to go to different services, and some customers weren't asked anything, and they didn't leave anything to charity in their will. Some were said, would you like to leave any money to charity in your will? And 10% of them did. But just by saying, many of our customers like to leave money to charity in their will. Are there any causes you're passionate about? Changed that from 5% to 15%. Now, in legacy terms, that's a huge amount of money, enormous amount of money. So we all like to think we're all smart. We would be fooled by something as simple as that, wouldn't we? But we are. I mean, it's quite incredible how easy those sort of changes can change people's attitude. Now, this study, I've recreated this at home on numerous occasions. It's drinking pints of beer. So they did this in the Students' Union. So you offer a budget and a premium, and 33% of the people went for the budget, 60% went for the premium. Then they offered a bargain bin, a budget and a premium. But if you add a premium, the super premium, that makes the premium look like the second choice, and more people go for that. And so in that case, people so same bar, same beer, but the difference is incredible. Again, we like to think we're smart, intelligent people that wouldn't be fooled by something as simple as that, but we are. So we see something, there's a super premium, automatically makes the premium look good. And of course, you can apply that to your. Quite often, you see these. It's like £2, £5, £10. That's what we put. You can put any bloody numbers here you like, and actually test the numbers, see what works. I mean, the great thing about the website is that you can test things. So it doesn't really matter. Odd numbers actually generate quite a lot, but you can put quite high numbers in. And again, if you've got the high premium one, you get more of the £50, and the £80 doesn't look so bad. Obviously, different audiences are going to react in different ways, but you can test all of this on the website, and that is the fantastic thing. So, try A/B testing with two different pages, one with higher numbers, one with different numbers, and see what works. I think one charity tried all this, and they found that £17 was the optimum thing that people would give. If you put £17 in, you got a lot of £17 for some reason. So higher numbers don't necessarily put people off. Anchoring, this is another one. Just by adding even a penny will help. Change the amount of donations from 29 to 50 pence. Enormous change from a simple word like that. So again, it's understanding how people think and behave from an emotional point of view is incredibly important, because it makes a difference in the changes. Now, you scale that up, whatever level you want to scale it up, but the difference in those numbers is quite significant. So it is very important to understand how people think. This is another one where people are more likely to donate if you've only reached 10% of your target. They're less likely to make you a donation. If they think you're close to your target, they will make a higher donation. So you shouldn't, if you're doing anything, you shouldn't start with 5%. You should bump it up. In other words, the other thing, of course, that happens is if they look at the last donation is very important. If the last donation was high, they're more likely to make a higher donation. So again, that's understanding that psychology can help you increase your donations. by quite a significant margin. I mean, we're not talking small change here. We are talking that these little changes can have a big impact on the amount of money you raise. So this is why strategy and research is so essential. We've invested in a whole department just around this because I think years ago it was about how pretty things looked, but now it's how effective things are. And strategy and research is the way you understand how your website is doing. You need it under constant review. It's not something you do once and come back to 5 years later. It's something you need to be constantly thinking about. What are the measurable goals for your website? How do you want to set those out, and then you want to measure and see how you're doing against those goals on a regular basis. We offer a range of services to do that, but I think it's so disappointing, I think, when many charities don't do that, because you could be making a big difference in the way even the amount of money people are raising, but what other metrics do you want to do? But without testing it and understanding how your website is performing, you're never going to get anyway. You have to continually do that research, see our stuff. And you have the great thing about, I used to, back in the older days, in marketing, you'd put an advert in a newspaper, and the newspaper told you it had 2.5 billion views, or whatever they used to say, because they always claimed that about 35 other people looked at the newspaper as well. But you had no way of ever knowing who looked at your who looked at your advert, or who bought anything from it. It was just blind money going out the door. You had no way of testing it. The website offers you these huge opportunities. You can try anything. You can try pink buttons, blue buttons, A/B test them and see what works best. I think actually bright orange works very well. Apparently, it works very effective. People like, bright orange buttons. But you can test that on your own websites to see what works best for your users.